Hey, everybody. Welcome to Gardens, the Untold Story. Ken Somerville, Mr. Andy Lopez, the Invisible Garden. Sorry about this morning, guys. I ate something wrong and I had to take a sick morning off. But anyway, Andy, we're supposed to be talking about the organic lawn, as you called it.
You know, you called me the Invisible Garden.
Did
I
I?
heard that. Yeah, I heard that. I
Oh,
heard that.
I think your hearing is loused up because
Well,
it's
what will
hard
happen is
work.
this guy does Invisible Garden. He likes it, and I can't stop him from doing it. But you just gave him, and I should give him a free commercial. I heard that. I heard it. Okay, so you want me? So today we're going to talk about the organic garden. I'm going to be using. This is
Organic. No, see, now you said organic garden. It's supposed to be organic lawn. So
Okay,
this
now you're
makes
screwed.
a
Can we
mistake.
start over again? Can we start?
We'll run the intro again,
Okay, Dave.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, this is Andy Lopez, Invisible Gardens. Today we're doing the organic lawn. And
Yeah.
I started doing I think the lawn was the very first thing I did as a kid. I
Okay.
think when
Yeah.
people hired me to do gardening for them, they wanted me to cut their lawn. Good morning, Sally. To cut their lawn and to feed it. And so I learned how to do organic lawn care in the 6th grade. I think almost all, now that I think about it, because I had like quite a lot of the cover. All of them had lawns. They had
Yeah.
gardens in the back. Not, I think about half of them had vegetable gardens. They all didn't have vegetable gardens. Almost all of them have fruit trees, right? Almost all of them had roses, but they definitely had lawns. And I still, to this day, I teach the organic lawn, but the lawn itself, what it's made up, has changed for me over time. Okay, hi, Lily. In other words, my idea of an organic lawn is not the typical idea you would think of a marathon or blue fescue, that type of grass lawn. Okay, because my idea has radically changed. I have several, and I wish I could show it to you, because what I do is I teach people, and I do it for them as well. Install them. It's called Kurapia, Kuripa. Hey, Lily, if you're here, look it up and snap up a picture of the Kurapia. Just look up Kurapia. You're going to see it's a native California lawn. They'll show some pictures of it. Come on, you can bring it up, girl. I know you can do it. You're fast. But that's why I've been encouraging people to do it. Just recently, just yesterday, day before yesterday, and I apologize. I'm super busy now, but he sent me these pictures of the fires we had here in Pacific Palisades, right? So he had installed a Kurapia lawn. The only thing was left is the lawn. It was a deep green lawn. The house is burned, ashes everywhere, but this lawn is still alive.
Okay. Cool.
How is
Cool.
that? And I was telling people that you want to plant Kurapia because it has 10 foot deep roots, right? So this is like what a weed does. This thing, the roots go down 10 feet, and then the longer it grows, the bigger and more powerful those roots are. They go down there. And what do they do when the roots go down there? Because I was always fascinated with our Mother Nature's healing agents, the healing, what is it, ointment, Mother Nature's ointment weeds.
Okay.
You
Mother
came
Nature's ointment weeds. I'm not sure what you're talking, Andy.
what you call weeds.
Okay. Medicinal plants for the soil.
There you go. So I when you said that, it also reminded me of Kurapia, because that's a medicinal plant for the soil. It's actually a weed. We just happen to give it a different name. Let's call it a native grass, right? Right? That's
Sure,
all
why
it
not?
is. Because a weed by any other name, right? It's like, so we can name things that are weeds, but in reality, these are beneficial plants for the soil. So what this weed does, it doesn't care. See how you call it a weed? This plant does. It doesn't care if it's growing in clay, because it's a native California. So I don't know how it will grow in Canada or in Texas. The conditions will have to be similar to California, I would assume. I think if you take some Kurapia and take it to Texas or anywhere in the United States other than places where it snows, like in Florida, I bet you this will grow really great in Florida. So I don't think it's limited to you. If you think it's just limited to here because it's native, you can only find it here. I don't know. I think maybe it'll grow other places, right?
Well, and as long as it can go dormant for the winter and then come back, it should be fine for up here. Because like we have Kentucky bluegrass up here that we grow.
I don't know if this goes dormant or not, because normally in California you don't have snow, and it doesn't grow up in the mountains where it gets snow. But anyway, it's called Kurapia, Kuripa. It's a native grass. And so when I started doing the grass lawns for people, I of course was doing it organically, right? And to
Of
me,
course.
the grass is a really cool species because it covers a major field. Here's the biology covering this whole field. That's like one living organism. All these roots in the ground, more boots in the ground, right? And
Yep.
and
Yep.
and so I started considering the lawn as a helper to helping the soil because it
Well,
holds the
exactly.
water.
If it's going that deep, Andy, those roots are going that deep. It's really
Yeah,
fluffing up your soil
yeah,
and
aerates
it
it.
accesses the deeper minerals,
It
etc.,
brings the
that go
minerals
down
up.
deep.
Brings the
Yep.
minerals up. You know, when it rained, when we had recently we had the fire, so these survived the fire. Not only that, but when it rained, it caught every bit of water that comes past it. Nothing goes right past it. It goes right into the ground, and then that
Yep.
place stays better. All the places around them are like drying out to try to figure out what's going on. That place stays healthier longer, and so I've done that to
Mhm.
quite a few customers. And during the summer, and you have to teach them because they do the same bad habit of watering. I was at a place just a few days ago. 5 days a week they water.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday. They don't do it on Saturday and Sunday, but 5 days a week they water, and then they water like every 5 minutes. They water 5 minutes. So
That's insane.
what happens to a lawn that you water every day for 5 minutes? Right off the bat, you'll know what it is.
Well, it goes anaerobic. Your roots die out because they can't breathe. Your biology dies because
Exactly.
they
Your
can't
roots,
breathe.
you have shorter roots. You have shorter roots. The
Yeah.
roots go ee, right?
Well, trying to get
Oh,
oxygen, okay? Like I
right. You
gotta
have
breathe.
shorter roots, and you try to give them more and more water. Then they dump chemical fertilizer. High nitrogen doesn't care the condition of the soil or anything. It pumps those poor little plants up, and all of a sudden they look, they're really strong. But all pretty soon it's like, ah. I did a bricks reading. We talk about bricks a lot, and one of the things about the
Yep.
organic lawn or anything you grow. Wait a second, I'm not even getting my. Oh, I was a bad boy. I love looking at the
Lily
comments.
says she can't find anything, so
There's nobody
maybe
there. Oh, Kuripa. Just look up Kuripa, California native lawn. Gee, I've never seen her say she can't find anything. but for me, I always consider the lawn. You can still have a lawn now during the drought. You just have to learn how to keep the biology alive in the lawn and how
Mhm.
to specific because you have to water the lawn. But there are certain things you have to learn. Okay, for example, the actual structure of the soil that the lawn is growing in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The area that you live in. So right here in California, you have 4 or 5 different areas. They call them zones, right? I live in
Yep.
zone 10. I live in zone 10. So it goes all the way up to zone 4 or 5 here, but 1 or 2 is definitely like where you live at. Is where you what zone are you in?
I think we're in 4A or something like
Yes,
that.
it goes down to 1, right? It was like Alaska or some shit, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? It's like right.
Yep.
And when I lived in Colorado, we only had lawns during the spring and summertime.
Yep.
The rest of the time, there's white funny stuff in the ground. You don't need a lawn because wherever you have this funny stuff, I would leave. And I'm not talking about cocaine; it's the snow.
Well,
So
I know we're raining right now, Andy, but as the temperature cools down this evening, it's going to turn into snow overnight.
you're raining. That's cool. Where in Canada are you now?
Just outside of Edmonton, Alberta.
And that's Alberta is approximately where
It's
north
on
of
the
it,
west side. If
west
you
side.
went straight north from where you are, you
Yeah.
just have to go a little bit to the east and about
How do you know where I am?
3,000 miles, I think.
How do you know where I am?
Because I used to travel I-5.
Oh, you did? Okay, right. So you're zone 4. So you have a different. What kind of grass do you got for your lawn? You told me before.
We have a mix. When we replant, we do just a mix of different grass seed. That's just a normal rhizosphere, propagation grass.
See what she said.
Okay. Carapula is a drought-tolerant ground cover
Carapia.
often used as a lawn alternative, known for its low maintenance requirements and ability to thrive in various conditions.
And so there's a couple of things about this. So, and that's you can actually change. Oh, hi, Roy. Hey, by the way, Roy, your name is often confused for mine. So when I did a radio show many times, and it still happens. People say I can't find you, and I said your email doesn't work, and they always spell Gardner. Always, it's your fault, James. It's your fault. People get confuse me for you. Okay.
Hey,
Roy.
and Grumpy, you should reach out because I'd love to have you come on Conversations in Ken's Cafe, man. So it's all about the biology at gmail.com. Send me an email, man. Let's get together and have a chat.
Who are you talking to?
Rory Gardner.
Yeah.
His other name is Grumpy.
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 Gardner. Yeah. What does he do? You can have you on. What does he do?
He's a gardener. Mainly cannabis, etc. But yeah, he's a great guy. I'd love to have a nice chat with him. It's been a long time since I've talked to him.
So the lawn, you want to change the definition of it. It's just a green. Even it could be green. Yeah, the carapia is green with a lot of flowers. You can actually do it as a lawn because you can walk on it. There's no problem walking on it. It's like a very soft vine. It's got little white and pink flowers. The bees love it. If you be allergic to bees, you wouldn't do it. But it's so different. It's so different. I think you have to just look it up. When you see pictures of it, you'll see it's very, very beautiful. The point here is that you can grow. So I have grown other types of native grasses and herbs. I've grown. Let's see what's the name of that mint. It's a mint. And it's a very, very low growing mint. And there are 4 or 5 different kinds of mints you can grow as a lawn because they do really well. They cover the whole area, and you don't have to water as much. That you could, if you wanted to grow, it's called Corsica mint.
Okay.
Something in my head just said Corsica. It's Corsica mint. Really, really cool, man. You take your shoes off, you walk on it, and there you go. Hey, what is that? That's the carapia. See how the carapia looks beautiful and green? Yeah, and that's a different. That's a different kind of grass. Look at that. Look how green that looks with the little flowers. They either come in white flower or in pink flowers. So if you're in California, you definitely want to give this a shot because you're going to have an amazing. And you still have a lawn. It's just not this grass type. And you can do grasses if you really insist on having a lawn. You just have to learn how to feed them. Learn how to feed. You're not really feeding the lawn. Here's the trick. Forget about feeding the actual plant. You feed the soil. You feed
the biology. The biology.
Yeah, you actually think about what is best for my soil to eat. What does my soil need? So I was using rock dust, or the pelletized form of rock dust. I was using gypsum because gypsum will break up the hard pan. I was using lots of different types. Green sand. Green sand is wonderful to sprinkle on your lawn. Earthworm castings are absolutely amazing. Compost. You can take compost, run it through that's nice. Isn't that beautiful? And that's your lawn, okay?
Yeah.
And that's your lawn. And that is absolutely enjoyable, and people don't have to water much. Okay, so the other thing is that the roots makes them gopher proof. And the older they get, gophers actually becomes toxic. It's toxic to gophers, but because they're young, not as toxic. So after a few years, they get older, the roots get deeper, they become more toxic. Corsica mint, yes, ma'am. And Corsica mint is a wonderful light green color mint. You can walk on it. You need to be anything you want to walk on. You always have to be careful with, but it's really nice to have alternative. So a lot of things. What I do. One of the things I love doing with lawns is turning them into wildflower meadows. So you technically have a lawn, that's my front lawn, but it's really a meadow, a wildflower meadow with a path running through it and a couple of chairs sitting in different places. And you could do that. That's Corsica mint. That one you see them on the left, that's what it looks like on the ground. And it's really very, very nice. And you can actually, when you walk on it, you'll smell it. And you bring some in, you can make a tea out of it. You can make, look at it, who run with Corsica mint, right? See? And
Yeah.
the Corsica mint lawn. That's good. That's exactly what I've done before. I don't know if any one of my pictures, but that's what you do. So you can grow, and it's really very different. You tell people, take off your shoes and go for a walk. Because, if you have these shoes, you can destroy it, right? But if you're barefooted, you can even lie down on it. And these mints, it's a fireproof. So Carapia is fireproof, gopher proof, and it helps your drought. So with the deep root systems, it brings oxygen down below. It brings up the minerals, and what you feed it also roots go on down and it gets it to the soil. And you can take if you have Carapia and what happens is it starts growing. You have too many of them. You try to plant it. You can and actually I started doing what you told me to do, put the weeds in the water. I would do the Carapia in the water because anything that wants to really vigorously grow has this really biology set for that. You make a tea out of it. You can spray it on plants. So it's also good. So one of the things I do in my vegetable garden, I do for a customer, raised bed. I planted Carapia. So the whole bed's covered with Carapia. I would dig a little hole, plant some vegetables in between the Carapia. And so the rabbits cannot get to the vegetables that they normally eat because they try nibbling on the Carapia. They go, this is not going to work. See, rabbits, squirrels, that's what I'm doing out here in my garden because I'm getting attacked by gophers, all kinds of stuff, and I don't want to kill them. So I have a little ongoing thing going with them that I planted daffodils, paper white daffodils. Gophers will eat it and they die. So if you guys want to eat this, you die, it's up to you. Planting the Carapia. And now I'm finding earthworms in my garden because before I didn't. It's the same kind that I have in there. And so I think today, I'm making my liquid and one worm is going, I'm making my escape, I'm running forward. It was heading out towards, right? I'm going, go, stay. I told him, don't leave, don't go too far. I know I picked him up and put him back in again. If I catch you out again, I'm going to kill you. But so I've noticed, so when I do my liquids, they have earthworms eggs in it. See, the worm capsules had eggs in it. And because the machine does not destroy the biology, it allows the eggs through. So I'm spraying these eggs everywhere. I also spray mushroom spores because they're the not psychedelic one. They're not edible either, but they're basically natural for that lawn. And when they grow, that tells me that mycelium is growing. And so when you have a lawn, what you want to do, and you know too much about this, is that you need to make sure that the lawn is rich in mycelium. Yeah. And it's one way you can check is because you can actually dig down and you can see the mycelium just below the root levels or in the lower level roots. You'll see this white hair-like stuff. It's white, and that's the mycelium. And that's what you want to grow because that's a network that grows under the soil. And that's how the biology. If mushrooms are growing, they go in the mycelium. You know there's mycelium, that the soil is alive. And your lawn will look absolutely amazing because you don't want a green lawn, you want a blue-green lawn. In nature, you get a color that's called blue-green. If you look at it, you have a green but a tinge of blue on it, and that's the color you want.
Yeah, right? And what's that sound like, Andy?
I beg your pardon.
Well, you hear colors, so what's the sound like of that blue-green?
It's interesting you brought it up because when I drive around, I hear the color first, and I look around for it, and I always can tell, and I go, oh look, and I that's why I call it blue green because I can tell there's a natural lawn or a natural plant. Even the trees have a blue green color as opposed to a bright green means high nitrogen, high man-made nitrogen. You're like, oh. A blue green is like, yes, I'm good, right?
Yep.
Very, very different. So in nature, you find blue green. In nature, you don't find high nitrogen green. That's what the bugs say. Oh, look at that. Whippy, let's see, right? And also, too, in terms of so you have to deal with the soil stuff. And when you do that, you find that you want to have the roots of the lawn have as long as possible. What did he say? What's this? That's just turning out.
Well, hello. I all just tuned in, and first thing I heard is
Yeah.
mycelium. Nice. And by the way, guys, Bohemian Herbology is my guest on Conversations in Ken's Cafe tomorrow. We're going to be showing her her garden, etc. So you're going to want to check that out with Julie tomorrow.
So when you do your lawn, you want to grow your mycelium. You want the whole property to be one mycelium family. That's what you want. You want to be able to dig anywhere and find mycelium. So in a lawn, it's a different environment than in a little forest or in the garden, but it's the same mycelium. Actually, slightly different mycelium for the lawn, slightly different mycelium for your vegetable garden, yeah, oak trees, whatever. They all have different mycelium specific for that type of plant. So you want to learn how to encourage the mycelium to grow. So, okay, yeah. Hi, William. Hi. I like Bohemian herbology. I wonder if that's really about growing your own medicine.
It is actually. She does both vegetable garden and everything else as well. But Annie, just to let you know, she's on watching on your channel. So guys, you can watch on both and put comments on both
Thank
channels.
you. That's so nice of you.
You know, so yeah, it's all community caring and sharing in community.
That is so nice of you. Just because of that, I like to have a guest on my show. Talks to the Invisible Gardener. Actually, I want to get you to come on my show again. So we said you were going to do that as a guest.
And Ghetto Heppy has a question, man. Has Andy been enjoying his vacation?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about vacation, man. I don't know if you call having the city turn off the electricity and water and gas for almost 2 weeks of vacation. I would say, and then this month it rained half the month, and I can't. In Florida, I don't mind going on spraying trees and doing biology in the warm rain. But you're kidding me, going on this freezing rain. Okay, so it was maybe 55 degrees. Okay, so you're going to go
freezing rain. We
I
get
know
freezing rain up here, Andy. It actually turns
I know you were going to say something. I knew you were going to say freezing. What is it? 32 degrees below or something like that, right?
Yeah. So he says, "What? Weren't you out camping? What's going on? You know, yeah."
So I actually I don't. So I haven't taken a vacation in a long time. My vacation is be here right now, and I'm actually looking into leaving and going to maybe Costa Rica. There are lots of things going over there. Some people like what I do, and they say, "We don't know what we're doing over here. We need to make compost. We need to do all this biology here. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. You can live here if you want to. It's just help." And I'm going, But because at my age, I want to do my second half of life. I really like educating the public on what I know. But what I really like doing is living like a hippie in the woods with fruit trees and flowers and even monkeys and birds. You know, I like all that because I like getting away from the traffic, from cars. I mean, I'm also a farmer boy. I would love to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I would be up milking the chickens.
Milking the chicken. Okay, I think Andy, you did too much LSD in Woodstock. Okay, if you're milking chickens, brother, you know, I think you've been to eating those mushrooms again. You know,
I knew there was a problem. I knew there was a problem, but I couldn't figure it out. Oh dear. No, I love
that hurt. Okay.
I would love to live on a farm just because, you know, that's the way of life. You get up, you eat what you grow, you know. There are some things you can't, you have to go buy, but the majority of stuff, your whole life is constant.
You ever grow an edible lawn where you can eat your lawn?
Well, I tried that. It's very difficult. The edible lawn is also edible by other creatures and other things. So edible lawn means lots of other things can eat your lawn.
Yeah. Then you can eat those other things and get the healthy.
I don't know. I don't think so because a rabbit will go through that like a
so
squirrel.
You've never had rabbit? You've never ate rabbit? It tastes like chicken, Andy.
No, man.
It's actually really good.
I did. What I did was edible landscaping.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the edible landscaping, you had a lawn, but the lawn was also either mince, Oregano is really nice to walk on. I love
Mhm.
Corsica mint. There are lots of other medicinal plants that are basically a little ground cover plants, you know.
Yeah.
And so you basically it's edible, make tea from it, you know. There's a lot,
Mhm.
so you don't really need that type of grass. But I also can grow grass. It's from wheat berries because grass it's made what you make your wheatgrass juice
Yep.
where you see so where you get right where like the Sun Corella I liked it, but I was turned on to wheatgrass juice, and that's from wheat, and that's for grass. You can literally grow a grass made from
Yep.
wheat berries. You cut the grass and you grind up the juice and you drink it. So you have an
Yep.
edible lawn. You can even bend like a cow, walk around and chew on it. Because I would just cut up some grass, put in your mouth, chew in the ball, and that's the best way to do it over the day.
A-
That's my chewing gum.
Andy, when I was growing up, that we used to go out into the field and pull up the wheat stalk, and we would stick on it and chew it, and you'd have the head of the wheat on there when it was young and tender, and you get that chlorophyll. Oh, it was great. I grew up that way, you know. But
Uh,
anyway, Andy, for the edible lawn, the Corsica grass or the
Corsica
first
mint.
one we were talking about.
Corsica
I think
mint.
I actually have some in my lawn. I think I actually have some of that because those flowers that
Yeah.
look really, really like something that I have in my lawn right now.
And you know you can make a tea from that. Plus you can also do
Oh
it.
no, that's a medicinal tea.
No wait, I was gonna say with the tea that you can make, besides for yourself, you can spray your plants with it. So if you have a vegetable garden.
Yep.
So a lot of times rabbits and squirrels and all that kind of creature wants to eat my vegetable. Well, the one reason why I grow a lot of medicinal tea, like I have one I really use a lot, is it's I've forgotten the name of it now, but it's sitting right.
Oregano.
It's looking at me right now because it's citronella.
Ah, citronella. Okay, yeah, yeah.
It's a
A
plant.
good way to get rid of mosquitoes is have citronella around.
Citronella. Well, that's easy. The easiest way is what I told you before the show started. Do you
What?
remember? Remember I told you the
We were
easiest.
talking worm juice before the snow started.
Yeah, we were also
Oh,
talking about mosquitoes, and there's one. I have a book, an ebook
oh yes,
that
yes,
you have
yes,
one
yeah,
page
yeah.
in it. Right. And what did I say?
Garlic, but garlic, cut garlic clove in half, stick one half in one shoe, one half in the other shoe, and you don't have to worry about mosquitoes because
Yeah, you
you
don't
don't
have
have
to
to worry
worry.
about kissing your wife either, though. Okay, I just
Yeah,
want to mention that part
you
of
don't
it,
have to
guys.
worry about mosquitoes. You don't have to worry about mountain lions. You don't have to worry about rattlesnakes. Anything that's going to bite you has to find you first. Mountain lions, bears, they'll sniff you. Go, I don't think so. Just move along. Just move along. And, and
And your wife goes looks at you and goes, "Okay, I think you're moving next door. Or you're sleeping on the couch tonight, okay? Because
so you know what?
that garlic is too much."
You know what horse flies are, right? That the
Oh,
horses have to.
oh yeah, man. We
So
deal
what
with
we
those
do.
up here lots.
So what I showed a customer to do is they can take the garlic. They buy garlic berries, like 100 cloves of garlic in 1 gallon. It's
Okay.
got concentrated garlic. You learn how to add a little bit of garlic to water. You make this liquid out. And you can bathe the horse in it. The horse actually loves the smell of garlic, but the garlic smell will keep the horse flies away.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's an easy thing to use to control. But the and garlic is a medicinal herb you can grow in the garden
Yeah.
as well, in the lawn. Because a lot of things you grow in your lawn, ideal for me is that you have a path going through the lawn on
Yeah.
both sides. You don't have this monoculture. You have a mixture. I have a grass growing, but also other things are growing right in there with it.
Mm-hmm.
Native grasses, native flowers. You don't walk
Well,
through that.
a lawn like this on the left with the stones, you're walking on the stones, but you can have the medicinal herbs, etc., along your edges like that.
So I have a customer. What I did was imagine that was carapia. So the biggest problem if you do carapia on stones to walk, the carapia will cover the stone up. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
as you're walking, carapia will reach out and grab your leg, and next thing you know, it wraps around your leg and starts pulling you, and you can't move. Uh-oh, I'm ready for a joke, Sarita. I need a good joke. Come on, hit me with it. So
We'll just have to wait for what she comes up with. Maybe it's a corn post, because that's what the news wants to read is the corn post.
corn post, what is that?
I'll let Serena type it in, and then we'll bring it up. So
So I'll talk a little bit about lawn. So basically, you want to think about outside of the box. You don't want to grow that one type of grow a lawn. You want to think about having a blend, just like you do with the biology. You have a blend of biology. You want a lawn, because that'll be your front lawn. See, this is your front lawn area, right, or your back lawn. It doesn't have to be a quote lawn, it's just grass.
Yeah.
Even though you could do one type like the carapia, you could do the lots of native grasses that you can grow. The native grass has one problem is at certain times of the year they go to sleep and then they come back again, right? And so, but if you're growing a variety of plants that will grow year round, depends again if you have snow. Over here, I could do it year round because it just gets cold, and I have other things growing in the garden. In my lawn, I don't have a lawn per se where you go out and cut the grass. I think that's a waste of the space to cut the grass. But you can have a whole bunch of stuff growing in that space and still have a quote lawn.
Now, talking about temperature, I wanted to bring up Shawnee Grove's statement here. Are there edible lawn broadcast sown and mature in one season? And are these plants perennials for a minus 40 Fahrenheit winter? That's something you're going to have to research yourself, because Andy's in California. We're talking about California, but I'm pretty sure that I see some of this stuff up here in Canada, where yes, we get the minus 40 weather. So, but do your own research, Shawnee. And Shawnee, you still need to book, young lady. I'm still waiting for you to book. So, yep. Anyway, go on.
I don't know what we're talking. Who are you? What do you want?
Well, yeah, I want her to come on my show on Conversations in Ken's Cafe and have a chat.
I think
she will. Yeah, I just got to keep giving her reminders. Like, it's people, need reminders. Like, I need reminders all the time. That's why I have alarms on my cell phone to remind me to do things. Like, dump garbage on Tuesdays.
So the problem that people have when they do a quote lawn, and there are many reasons why they have this problem, is simply because they don't treat the lawn like a living biological thing. They just think it's grass and needs to be cut and water it. A lot of times I tell people, they ask me, something's wrong with my lawn. And I said, well, you feed it? Well, no, I just give it water. Lots and lots of water. So and you have, another lady called me up just the other day. I have a massive lawn ant problem. And that's because her lawn is just getting all the water, and it's basically one big ant colony. It's not a lawn colony. You have some grass growing, but you can see that it's having a really rough time even getting roots, because it can't go down in this hard stuff. So if you insist on it, and that's because you're not treating the area as a place of a city of living beings. And so right now, if you was to walk through there, you will see it's abandoned. Very few of them living there, some homeless here. Nobody's doing anything. It's all going downhill. You can have a lawn, right? It's just a marathon, a blue-green ryegrass, whatever grass you want to, but you have to have the inner city for the living beings to live in to support that lawn. Right? You have to have a structure as you grow learn as you grow. Yeah. This is her thing, right?
This is her YouTube channel. And she actually, I had an interview with Shawnee on her YouTube channel. You guys can go check that out. It was a great conversation. So
she didn't invite me.
To reciprocate.
She didn't invite me. I don't know.
You're just so, let's say, eccentric. Yes, you come from that spaceship, Andy, and everything kind of floats in the ether.
I have a lawn. I have a lawn in my spaceship.
And so you need a lawn because that's oxygen, right? Right.
So when you want to, so if you insist on, whether you have a lawn or whether you have a meadow or all types of native grasses, you still have to attend to the basic structure that causes everything to grow well. And so you want to provide a source of biology on a regular basis. So it's always good to get into doing composting. because that increases the biology. It's always good to learn how to make compost tea, to make a biological liquids that you can to increase the biology. You always have to be thinking about increasing the biology year
Worm
round.
juice,
What?
Andy's worm juice, you know.
Right, right. And a worm farm is one of the easiest ways I have because where I live here, I wouldn't be able to have a worm farm where you live unless you have it indoors. Then you
Well,
could.
yeah, that's the only way that we can have a worm farm up here is indoors, especially like red wigglers. There's no way they can't survive in our temperature for over winter. But yeah, like we have to have those beautiful lush worms like coming up and breaking up that soil and creating this, compost, that how they do it, going through. Andy, like you, I know you promised me you're going to be building a new worm bin and you're going to be putting out some worm content on your show
I have,
channel.
yeah, I have one bin now,
Yeah.
and I've been talking to them about, okay, I need volunteers to go over there, and we're going to set up communication. They're going to have their own texting and their own internet between them. They're not going to disappear from their family because there's one big family. And so that's what I'll do. Basically, I'll set up another worm farm, and I'll take half from there, move them on over there, and then they'll double again. So I have twice as much. And that's one of the problems when you do worms is that they keep doubling. So after a while, you're gonna have to say, "Worm farm, come and get your worms," because they will produce. And that's what they do. They multiply. They double. They double. They double. That doubles, and that doubles, and that doubles. And you know you're doing it right, and that produces more biology for me because I would love if it was on a farm, all the biology would go right back into the farm. And there's so many cool ways to have a moving biological system that replenishes.
Yep.
I was talking to a friend of mine. What they basically have is like a barn that moves around on wheels, and that chickens, all the animals. One part of the year they're over there, another part of the year they're over there. So they basically move around, and they have cattle that move around, and different creatures that basically take turns being in different parts of the property. By the time they come back to there, that place is just growing like crazy. You can grow whatever corn or whatever you want to. And so, but you can take that at a miniature level too, because not too many people have goats or cows for their lawn. So
well, instead of having 50 chickens in a chicken tractor, build a chicken tractor that only has 2 or 3 chickens and move it across your lawn. Why not?
Well, that's a little bit of a lot of work, because I was going to say what all you really need to do is, if you, depending on the size of your property, because not too many people have big enough area to have a little farm in the corner there of your lawn, because all you really need to do is have a tiny little farm like where I'm at now. She has 12 chickens.
Yep.
Right, and 3 horses, and so that produces tons of biology.
Yeah,
you do it right.
The organic material, because anytime that horse, when they eat and their excrement comes out, that's full of biology. Then the chickens get in there, they rip that up, move it around, break it up. That's more biology. As they eat the bugs in there, they're bringing more biology. It's rotational grazing is a wonderful, wonderful methodology.
And you could do that. You could move the animals around the lawn, but you don't. And if you have the time and the space, that's the ideal way to do it. What plants? Oh, it's also gathering compost. You have sold out. Look, you need some new ones. You told me that.
Here we wanted the corn post.
Agreed to get the new. There you go. The compost. That's a new one. There you go. I like that. What do soil scientists read? Their compost. Holy cow! I love that.
Yep,
That's absolutely great.
So I did have somebody. Serena had she wanted to know if I know Kelpie Wilson. She's been on with Leighton Morrison. I actually have her coming on Conversations in Ken Cafe Tuesday, April 8th. She's coming on with me. So yes, I do know Kelpie Wilson.
And biochar is an excellent addition to the lawn soils, earthworm castings.
Yep.
You can buy biochar, sprinkle on there. One of the things you definitely have to learn how to do, regardless of what it is constantly. So several times a year, you're adding. What I tell people, add rock dust compost and mulch.
Okay.
right? So the rock dust is a source of trace minerals. The better you get a blend of different types of rock dust, you're going to get a blend of different types of trace minerals. And rock dust can be applied in so many different ways, but because if you have an area, you can literally add it to the soil as you go throughout the year, or you can make it in your compost setup. You make compost, and that's what you add to the ground. I prefer that because when you're making compost, you have this wide range of biology going with the trace minerals and that whole thing, and the biochar, and you make it so intense. Then you put that on your ground. You put that on your lawn, and you rake it into a lawn. And so that you're increasing the biology. With one of the things you really have to do about biology is you have to take a look at your water. So I don't know about you, but my city water here is toxic. People don't drink it, and they're forcing the biology to drink it.
Well, you're forcing your lawn and your plants and anything you spray it on, and you're killing your biology mainly because of the chemicals in the water itself. So
exactly right.
I'm not sure.
Exactly right. The rhizomes are the orange red lily. I forgot the name of it. The bed before transplant is there a way to prevent them from getting into the bed from the cylinder? I don't know what you talk about, but if it's rhizomes, it will spread out, and I don't know how you can stop it from getting into the bed. You can put it in a container.
You have to put a sheet of something down where it actually can't go through. That's as far as I know, that's the only way. Or keep it in a pot where it can.
I would start it in a container. I would start it in a container, and you can actually put it. It started in a small container, and every couple of years or so, you transplant it into a bigger container. And what you do when you get it up to a certain size container, you can literally take it out of the container, prune the roots back, put it back into the container so it stays in that container. It will never get big, but what happens is the plant will get really beautiful and big.
Yeah.
And otherwise, and then if you want more of the plant, that when you give it a haircut, you take those rhizomes and plant them in other containers. So you have otherwise, if you even in the container or that, what will happen is the roots will cut through that, and you can do steel, something really solid, because they will find their way through, and gradually they will work their way through. It may take longer, but they will do it. So if you're going to plant those, I would definitely plant it ahead and put them in a small container. Just remember to come back in a couple of years. No, because they're bigger and they look like they're too tight. You take them out of there. You can even take and split it up into two different plants, put them back in a container. And if you grow them in containers, eventually you can have really big plants, but they're in containers, and you have to definitely keep pruning the roots. Otherwise, they spread out in a circular fashion all the way around the plant. If you leave it years after year, you're going to be popping up everywhere, which is kind of nice. I don't know what your problem is with that.
Well, maybe she doesn't want them. She wants to have other plants, and those are taking over. Like
it will take over.
Grass does the same thing. You're right.
It
takes over your lawn.
Yeah, it will take off. That's why you can have a lawn of that.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what will happen eventually over the years, because that stuff will eventually dig into any hard soil, any hard clay. So it's actually, I don't know if it grows here in California, but because maybe the clay is too alkaline for it, because it needs to be acid. Am I wrong? It's an acid-loving plant.
Yep.
So let's see. One of the things I want to tell people before I forget is that aside from setting up some live workshops, I'll be doing them on a regular basis really soon. Right now, I'm getting the videos together and I get the program together. What I want to tell people, I have 3 ebooks that you can have for free. My first one is "Don't Panic, It's Organic," my latest book. It's actually this book.
Yeah.
And if you want this in a print version, if you want it in a print version, just go to my website, the store. You see the click the book. It takes you to the Amazon page of my book. It says buy there, $20, free shipping. Otherwise, I give you. But if you sign up for my newsletter, I will give you that 3 free ebooks. That book, my "Don't Panic," is my. That's the "Don't Panic, It's Organic." I also have "Alternative to Chemicals for the Home Garden." That's another ebook. I don't have a print version of it. I'm working on it. And then I also have a "Remineralization of the Earth" by John Haymaker. And I think I may have the 4th one, which is the bricks book. Now that I think about it, it's also an ebook. So I don't know if I can get you all 4 of them, but if you tell me I want 4 of them, I will give it to you. If you just say, give me your ebook, I'll close my eyes and pick one. I'll give you, probably my book. But if you really want the other books, it's just ebooks. I have them on file. Click on it, and I'll send it back to you. But I would appreciate it. What I'm doing in the future is you sign up for the newsletter, and in the newsletter, you're going to get a welcome to my club, all that kind of stuff, and there's some books, ebooks links you can download.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right
It's just a
now.
matter of setting it up on your website. So
Yeah.
give Andy time, okay? Like he's like me. Sometimes technology is easy and sometimes technology is a pain in the butt. Okay.
I'm just busy. I'm just super busy these days because more and more people have the same identical problem, like what we're doing today. And they have a lawn, different areas of the lawn, and they're watering like crazy. I know they're having a problem because they have moss, green moss growing. What did she say? What?
She says, really glad I
Yeah.
ordered the hard copy of Don't Panic, It's Organic.
And Bohemian Herbology, if you ever want the color version of it, it's $40, and I'm happy to do what I do is I do a special order from Amazon. They send you the book, but it's $40, and I don't sell it. I don't want to make any profit off of it, but that's the cost. I have to take it off because people were calling me up, Andy, why is your book going for $300? I said, what do you mean? Your color version of the book says $300. So I go look at it and he goes, yeah, we're third party. Amazon lets us sell, be third party vendors, and we love your book and we think it's worth $300. I said, you're kidding me. So I took it off. Where can I find any books that he mentioned above? You can, the place, if you want to find the ebooks, you go to Amazon and you type in Invisible Gardener ebooks. You're going to get 21 books that I'm out there. But if you go to my website and you click on the store, it takes you to my Don't Panic, It's Organic book, the print version, but it also tells you all my other ebooks, all the books that they're out there on Amazon because they are ebooks.
I think they're asking about the 3 or 4 books you were just mentioning, Andy,
Yeah.
where you can put it, attach it to when they sign up for your newsletter.
All you have to do now,
thank you.
All you have to do is to send me email. Go up to the website, invisiblegardener.com. There's an inquiry form there. The easiest way, inquiry. So you fill your name out there. Hi, send me the ebook. And that's cool because you'll get into my system. I think automatically sign up for the newsletter. If you don't want to do that, you just want to be the simple, just send me email. Andy Lopez at Invisible Gardener, GARDE. Let me spell invisible because people can't spell it right. Andy Lopez, they don't have a problem, but invisible, like the invisible man, and Gardener, this is the hard part. Everybody listen, GARDENER.com. Don't do GARDNER because you'll not get it. And that's what I was telling you. Was it Roy? Was it Roy Gardner?
Yeah, Rory Gardner.
Right. It's his fault. People can send it thinking Gardner. So it's Gardner, GARDENER.com. Andy Lopez at InvisibleGardener.com. Hi, I saw your books. I saw your all biology, and I want. Now here's the trick: you can get all 4 of them, but you have to say, "I want all 4 of your books." You have to mention what they are. And I'll tell it to you one more time so you can get it. Because if you don't know it, if you only say, "I want to Don't Panic," that's all I'm going to send you. I'm not going to send you the other books if you don't know what they are. Okay, so it's a Don't Panic, It's Organic book. There's my natural alternatives. That's alternatives to chemicals for the home and garden. That's the other one I wrote. There's a remineralization. It's called Remineralization. That's written by Don Weaver. He gives it to me to pass out. It's talk about how the earth remineralizes itself. And then you have the bricks book. It teaches you about bricks and refractometer. They're all ebooks. Yeah. And so I already have them in the file, and I will happily send them to you. And you don't have to do anything, but I would appreciate if you could sign up to get my newsletter and follow me and all that good stuff, because that's what it's all about at the moment. The more people follow me, the more people listen to me, the better it is for me. I mean, right? Because it's kind of depressing. I've been doing this for a long time. I have enough followers, but I need people to be involved. I like this. You people are super involved, and that's really so cool.
Yeah.
So that's how you get my book.
Another question. We got a couple of questions. Serena's asking another one, but I'll let you take this while I'm looking for what Serena had from above. So
right. So here's the thing. So with wasps, they're good creatures. Okay, so you don't have to really do much to them. So if you don't like them in the area where they're at, uh, I have always taken the approach: you just knock their nest down, and they'll go somewhere else. It's very simple. But if you're trying to keep them from coming back on any kind of regular basis, then there's a reason why they're there. Maybe they need water. Maybe they have the plants that attract some food or plants them. I would say if they don't bother you, leave them alone because they won't come after you. They're not like killer bees that come after you. See, so if the wasps are in a place that you constantly are running them into, like if they're in your front door or in your windowsill, but if they're around the house somewhere outside in the trees, I would leave them alone and they won't bother you at all. You know, and there are many things. Go ahead.
They have, you can buy little they look like a little wasp nest. You can put them up, and when the wasps see those, they feel that other wasps are living there, so they don't build the nest there.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, and the like Andy says, like I know one guy, a beekeeper, that he had his beehives outside, but he built glass on the backside that was inside of his building, and he had wasps build a nest above the entrance of the door, and he walked in and out regularly, daily.
No problem.
Wasps never bothered him at all. If he didn't disturb them, they weren't disturbing him.
Exactly right.
Wasps are one thing. Things like yellow jackets are totally different.
That's another story. You don't want them around, and there are many ways you can tell them. Aside from knocking down their nest, there are many nests. Vinegar works really, really good. You can do different types of essential hot water. It's just hot water by itself can be sprayed on them. It won't kill them, but they get the message. Garlic, that garlic berry really does work. It stinks up the area of garlic, and they're not going to be anywhere around. So if you have garlic, you have these guys. So there are lots of smelly things you could use on them. But mainly, even those guys, if you left them alone, they tend to leave you alone too. But if they accidentally run into them, you have a problem.
And time of year does matter, because up here in the fall, wasps are carnivores, guys. They eat other bugs. So in the fall, when the food is starting to get scarce, and the weather's getting colder, and we're talking Canada and those types of areas, they will start looking for your food if you're out on a picnic. So that's something to be aware of. And because they're hungry, it's just like when you get hungry, you get aggressive. You want to go to the fridge and get something to eat. Well, the wasps are hungry and they'll be more aggressive. So that is something to be aware of. But let's go on to Serena question here. She wanted to know if I had caught this. Is there anything else I need to do for the blackberry bushes besides what I mentioned above? What she mentioned above, Andy, I just transplanted 2 blackberry bushes in a raised bed. I had soaked them since last night in a 5-gallon bucket of water with biochar. When I took the paper off, one of them lost all the stuff around the roots. But is there anything else she needs to do? What can she add, etc.?
So you're confusing something. The biochar needs biology added to it. The biochar is not your source of biology. Biochar is the conduit where the biology live in. So if you was to take some really well-made compost tea and add that to your biology and then soak your plants in that, you'll get better results because they're getting the nutrition and the biology will live in the biochar and it'd be more active for you, see? So the biochar does nothing for the plant other than it's there, but it's waiting for somebody to move in. You see,
it's got actually activated biochar. It's in there, but in a water column, it's not going to do as much as it's going to do in the soil structure. That's why biochar is supposed to be in the soil. But I think, Andy, if you're making your worm juice or compost tea and you have activated biochar full of biology, as long as you're bubbling it and keeping that biology alive, would you think that that would help with the biology that
Of
would
course,
be in your compost tea?
of course. I put biochar in my worm farm. See, I can take biochar, make a tea bag of it, put it in my
Yep.
100-gallon sprayer, aerate it, and that's something viable to spray. But imagine if I was using the biochar, put it in my worm farm, got the liquid from that, and now I'm spraying almost the same thing, right? I'm spraying the biochar, but I'm also spraying it biologically and minerally rich charged up.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
that is a big different product. See, and
Mhm.
that's what you want to do with anything. So when you want to soak it in, you want that biology to really be feeding the plant in the water. And you're going to have to change the water. You can't let it sit for too long. So you want to rinse the water out. It has to be distilled water and put some new biology again. You want to rotate the bio. That's why hydroponics is constantly rotating the liquid.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
so you also can aerate. So you didn't say you aerated the water that we're sitting in. So these plants are sitting liquid biochar. You should have a little. You'll
And
find
the biology in the biochar that needs oxygen, if you're
yeah,
not bubbling it, you can be drowning your biology, right?
yeah,
It's like
right,
sticking you in a lake and not letting you come up,
right.
for air.
So that's what I would do. Bubble, soil, right? Bubble it. But
Yep.
if you make compost, put a little bit of compost, make some compost tea in it with the biochar. You find that you use the biology of the biochar, and the biochar would increase it enormously. But that's what it's for.
I like this one. Which insect
Ah,
nest do you not want to stir up? And that's the hornet's nest, because they were talking about, hornets, they'll steal your hot dog right out of the bun. And
yeah.
those Japanese hornets they're huge. They got to wear special suits, not
Look,
even like 100% bigger, better than any beekeeping suit for those giant hornets. They'll kill you like
here's
worse than
the
killer
thing.
bees.
Here's the thing. If you do what I tell you, take a garter clove, cut it in half, put it on each shoe. Hornets, bees, wasps will not attack you. They won't. They won't even come anywhere near you. How's that?
I missed that because Lily was
Yeah.
talking. She said Perpetual is talking about compaction. So how to remedy compaction in your lawn.
You aerate it. You apply aeration is where you either get a machine, you plug little holes in it to take these chunk stuff out. You want to then add some biological alive to that. You rake it in. You water it. You want to start bringing biology in. So whether you do compost, you lay compost down, you rake it in, but you don't just you have to get it into the soil. That's why an aerator it literally does that. An aerator takes out plugs of your soil. You have these little plugs, leaves us tiny little squares, right? You fill it with your compost, and then you water it in so they start to get it into your soil. You can also use spikes that you put on your feet. They're little long spikes, and you start to break that hard pan up because that's what it is. It's a real hard pan that the roots are not able to do it. And of course, you need to stop using chemicals for that because basically it's been over fertilized, over water, everything's dead. You want to bring everything back. You want to literally start soaking the ground with bio. So I have my tea. I would get the warm teas and pour it right on the ground, soak the ground. If you want to see how it does, just soak a little area. Come back, you see that area is going to be very different than the rest of your lawn.
Well, and to give you an example of that, guys, I sprayed just straight worm castings on my lawn. I had one area that would hold water. The water wouldn't penetrate. Uh, I did a couple of sprays, got the biology in there, and now it's opened up the soil structure and the water drains through. But also, Andy, we talked about that particular grass or plant with flowers at the beginning of the
It's called
episode.
corrupia. It's called
Yeah, the
corrupia.
Carapia. Plant some of that Perpetual because it's got roots that go down, would you say, Andy, 10, 12 feet?
10 feet. Where are
That'll
you
help
at?
break it up.
Where's Perpetual at?
He's in Europe. I think Holland area, somewhere in Europe. I know Perpetual, you've said it before, and I'm sorry I can't remember, brother.
I would change the type of
Yeah.
I would change the type of grass that you grow.
Yeah.
Try to get a more vigorous native type of grass because maybe the grass is very weak. So you can also. I'm assuming you're doing it organically. But I have a feeling you're not because otherwise you would have a wonderful, amazing grass. So you really want. You can literally take everything out, re-amend the soil because the more soil you blend into it, the lower the variety come down, break up that hard pan. Plant the same grass again, and on this time pay more attention to the health of your soil because you want to feed the soil, not the grass. And you'll be surprised how fast that hard pan, because the biology will break it up. All the biology will go down there and break it, make it nice and soft, and everything will work. But you constantly have to be adding organic matter, and you have to stop. I don't know about you, but our city water sucks. So if you have city water, you better get a filter for that city water, and it's very simple to do. See, because that city water kills the biology. That's what it sounds like to me. A typical lawn that's been overwatered, fed with chemicals. No offense, but that's what it sounds like. Right? Am I wrong? Come on, you can say that. You can speak.
I'm not sure how. I know that he is really into the biology now and etc. So,
My goodness, that is good. City water is reverse osmosis. Then you don't have a problem with city water. That's absolutely wonderful. So concentrate, make the best compost you ever can make in your life. Apply that to your lawn, and break up the lawn so that water gets in there and the compost gets in there. Give it a nice haircut, a nice massage. Get the water down in there and control your watering. Normally, look, one of the things you can do, forget about this. If you're going to take the lawn out and redo the soil, I wouldn't put overhead sprinklers. I would put drip system down, plant the whole thing over it, and keep the water down below ground. You're going to use less water. Your grass will be amazing. People say, "What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anyway, Serena had one more joke, and then I'll address one more thing. Which insects are involved in law enforcement operations?
God.
Yellow jackets, scorpions, and ants. They conduct sting operations.
Holy cow.
Love it, Serena. And then I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Churinga. Lily mentioned the soil matters with Leighton Morrison. Go back in the playlist. You can come onto Gardens the Untold Story, our playlist as well. There's so much, my friend, that you're going to become aware of, and growing food in a healthy manner.
I'll help you.
Really, exactly.
I'll help you. No problem.
Yep, you're here at the right place to learn everything you need to.
Just take pictures. Just take pictures, and we'll share the screen. You can show me what you see. Tell me what's going on. We'll help you make it so amazing. You'll start a little business selling all the food you grow there.
Yep, and like Lily says, we got over 1,500 videos, so there's a lot of stuff that we talk about that you are just gonna blow your mind, my friend. So anyway, Andy, we're over an hour.
Yeah, I know we did that. Too bad.
You worked all day. You've been to like 3 farms today.
Yeah,
so
I'm going tomorrow to work all day again.
Yeah, so
it's fun for me. I love getting paid doing what I really enjoy doing. I'm grateful for that.
Oh, brother, and I love you coming on and sharing your knowledge from decades of experience with us. You're number one. Is that number one? Give me a thumbs up in my book.
That's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. When the guy goes like,
"Let's go!"
Right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you again next week.
All right, guys. And as I said, Bohemian Herbology is on with me tomorrow. I don't have a guest for Friday. We've got Tyler from Grassroots Fabric Pots on Saturday. We've got our IPM specialist, Claude Roberts, on Sunday. So, guys, it's going to be a fantastic week. So just make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get the notifications of what's coming out.
Check out my website too, guys, invisiblegardener.com. Don't forget.
You bet.
Take care,
Hey,
everybody.
peace out.
Peace out. Yeah.